A single drop of rain strikes the surface of a forgotten pond, and the whole world trembles in silver rings. Here, in a puddle no wider than a hand, one of nature's oldest stories is about to begin. On the underside of a floating leaf, a cluster of tiny dark specks clings together like a fragile raft. Each speck is an egg, smaller than a grain of sand, yet packed with the blueprint of a hunter. The mother who laid them is already gone, vanished into the dusk after a single meal of blood. She chose this stagnant water for a reason: no fish, no current, no mercy to wash her children away. For 3 silent days, the eggs darken, swelling with a life that presses against their fragile shells. Then, without warning, the first shell splits open beneath the water's skin. A pale, wriggling creature twists free, no bigger than an eyelash, hungry from its very first second. This is the larva, and it looks nothing like the insect it will one day become. It hangs upside down just below the surface, breathing through a tiny tube that pierces the air above. The pond is a jungle now, and every shadow that passes overhead could mean death. A hunting beetle glides through the murk, its jaws searching for something soft and slow. The larva senses the vibration and snaps its body like a whip, darting into the safety of the weeds. All around it, the water swarms with siblings twisting and coiling in the green gloom. It feeds constantly, sweeping microscopic scraps into its mouth with feathery brushes of hair. Sunlight filters down in golden shafts, illuminating a battlefield most human eyes will never see. Days pass, and the larva grows too large for its own skin. In a slow, straining struggle, it splits its outer shell and climbs free, larger and stronger than before. It sheds this armor 4 times, each molt a gamble between growth and exhaustion. A sudden drought could shrink the pond to cracked mud and end everything in an afternoon. But the rains return, drumming the surface, and the puddle swells with a second chance. On the 7th day, something strange begins to happen inside the wriggling body. The larva stops eating, its restless hunger finally falling quiet. Its shape thickens and curls until it resembles a tiny comma floating in the dark. Now it is a pupa, and inside this hunched capsule, a miracle is dissolving and rebuilding. Muscles unravel, wings unfold in miniature, and eyes take shape where none existed before. The pupa cannot eat, cannot fight, and can only tumble away when danger draws near. A pair of breathing horns break the surface, drawing thin threads of air into the changing body within. This is the most defenseless moment of its entire life. Above the water, a dragonfly patrols like a jeweled sentinel, hunting anything that dares to rise. Below, the transformation race is on, indifferent to the odds stacked against it. For 2 more days the capsule drifts, rocked by every ripple of wind and rain. Then the water grows still, and the surface tension stretches taut as glass. A crack races along the back of the pupa's shell. Slowly, impossibly, a new creature begins to push its way out into the open air. Its body is soft, crumpled, and utterly vulnerable as it rests upon its own floating skin. The old shell becomes a tiny raft, the only thing standing between the newborn and drowning. One wrong gust of wind now would tip it into the water and erase everything. It wakes, motionless, as its damp wings slowly unfurl and drink in the morning warmth. Blood pumps into the crumpled veins, and the wings stretch tight, thin as stained glass. Minutes stretch into an eternity while the sun hardens its fragile new armor. Then the legs grip the water, the wings give a first uncertain shiver, and the moment arrives. With a faint hum, the mosquito lifts from the surface and rises into the light. The pond falls away beneath it, a whole childhood shrinking into a single glittering point. In just over a week, a speck smaller than sand has become a creature of the air. It has survived beetles, drought, dragonflies, and the terrible fragility of its own birth. Now it drifts toward the warmth of the living world, guided by breath and heat and hunger. The most dangerous animal on earth was not born a monster, but a survivor. And somewhere in the distance, a new drop of rain is already falling, ready to begin the story again.